Do you ever wonder how far governments might go in the name of control? Hidden in the shadows of history lies a project so secret, so sinister, it seems almost unreal. It was called MK Ultra, a CIA program designed to manipulate the human mind, experimenting on innocent people without their knowledge or consent. What you're about to hear isn't fiction. This is real history, buried in classified files and slowly uncovered through lawsuits, testimony, and government documents. Today, we dive into the shocking truth about what MK Ultra did to ordinary people. People who trusted the system, people whose lives were forever changed, and people whose minds were fractured in ways that still haunt them decades later. The story begins in the early 1950s, during the height of the Cold War. The CIA was obsessed with the idea of mind control. They feared that enemies, especially the Soviets and North Koreans, were developing ways to manipulate individuals through drugs, hypnosis, and psychological torture. MK Ultra was born from this fear, a sprawling network of secret experiments conducted in universities, hospitals, and private institutions across the United States and beyond. Its goal was simple, terrifying, and impossible to ethically justify: control the human mind, erase memories, and turn ordinary citizens into unwitting agents of influence. But the methods? Brutal, unethical, and often lethal. One of the most horrifying aspects of MK Ultra was that the subjects often had no idea they were part of an experiment. Children, prisoners, hospital patients, and even college students were given psychoactive drugs, sometimes forcibly. LSD was a favorite tool. People were given doses without consent, watched as their minds fractured under the influence. Some experienced hallucinations so intense they could not distinguish reality from illusion. Others suffered permanent psychological trauma. One particularly chilling case involved a man who was dosed with LSD in a hotel room, alone, without warning. He believed he was dying, writhing in terror as his mind dissolved into a nightmare of hallucinations. He later described feeling trapped inside his own brain, unable to tell if he was awake or dreaming. Stories like his repeat over and over, a web of fear and confusion spun by those who wielded this hidden power, leaving a trail of victims who could never fully explain what had happened to them. MK Ultra wasn't limited to drugs. The CIA experimented with hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, and extreme psychological stress. They wanted to see how far the human mind could be broken and reprogrammed. Imagine being trapped in a small, dark room for days, deprived of sound, touch, and light. Your sense of time disappears. Your mind becomes vulnerable. Now add drugs, hypnotic suggestion, and constant disorientation. The people subjected to these experiments often lost their grip on reality, and some were never the same again. Some experiments explored the use of electroshock therapy, forced addiction, and withdrawal cycles, and experimental surgery, all under the guise of research, all without consent. There were reports of people being injected with unknown chemicals while unconscious, subjected to extreme temperature changes, and monitored as their minds frayed in terrifying ways. The results of MK Ultra were devastating. Families were destroyed, careers ruined, lives shattered. Many subjects suffered long-term mental illness, addiction, and PTSD. One woman, who unknowingly participated in a so-called personality study, described feeling as if her mind was ripped apart. Unable to trust her own thoughts, others became paranoid, depressed, or even suicidal. Men and women who were once ordinary citizens were turned into walking shadows of themselves, haunted by memories they could not fully recall and horrors they could not explain. Some victims reported waking up in strange rooms with no memory of how they got there, or being asked to perform tasks they could not understand, while their every action was observed and recorded. MK Ultra left a trail of innocent victims, each one a reminder that the pursuit of control over the human mind can have dire, lasting consequences. The program even targeted some of the most vulnerable. Prisoners were used in experiments where they were forced to ingest LSD or other hallucinogens, sometimes over weeks, while psychologists observed their every reaction. Hospital patients, including children, were subjected to psychological manipulation, hypnosis, and repeated exposure to fear-inducing stimuli. The CIA also experimented with sensory overload and deprivation, keeping people in environments of complete silence or constant noise, leaving their minds unstable and terrified. The moral cost of these actions is almost unimaginable. MK Ultra was supposed to be a secret, and for decades, it was. Most records were destroyed in 1973, when the program was officially terminated. But enough evidence survived to reveal the truth. Congressional hearings in the 1970s, led by the Church Committee, uncovered fragments of MK Ultra. Survivors came forward. Their stories were horrifying. People dosed with drugs, interrogated under hypnosis, and monitored like lab animals, all in the name of national security. The CIA admitted to 23 known experiments, but the real number? No one knows. Many documents were deliberately shredded, and the full extent of MK Ultra's horrors may never be revealed. Yet, even the fragments we have are enough to shock the conscience. The ethical questions surrounding MK Ultra are staggering. How far should a government go to protect its interests? Can the pursuit of security justify the suffering of innocent individuals? Even today, MK Ultra is a cautionary tale. It reminds us that power without accountability is dangerous, and that ordinary people can become unwilling pawns in secret experiments. These experiments weren't just mistakes, they were deliberate acts of manipulation, conducted on those least able to resist. People were stripped of consent, privacy, and dignity, often for the most abstract theories of mind control. The psychological consequences were profound. Victims reported recurring nightmares, memory gaps, and a constant feeling that reality could not be trusted. Some spent their entire lives haunted by hallucinations induced during experiments, never fully recovering. Others suffered relationships falling apart, jobs lost, and families torn asunder. All because they had been unwilling participants in an experiment designed to bend the human mind. MK Ultra's victims were never heroes in history books. They were invisible casualties of a system willing to sacrifice morality for experimentation. Even decades later, some survivors continue to speak out, describing their experience as a lifetime of fear and uncertainty. One man recalled being taken to a clinic as a teenager, dosed with unknown substances, and interrogated under hypnosis. He said he could remember flashes of terrifying visions but could never piece together the full experience. Another survivor, a woman in her 20s at the time, described being trapped in a darkened room for days. Her senses distorted by chemicals, until she began to fear her own mind. These stories reveal the real human cost behind the secrecy and bureaucracy of MK Ultra. MK Ultra remains one of the most chilling chapters in modern history. It is a stark reminder that reality can be stranger, darker, and more horrifying than fiction. The innocent people caught in its grip suffered unimaginable torment, sacrificed for secrets most of us will never fully understand. Today, we remember them not just as victims, but as warnings about the fragility of the mind, the dangers of unchecked power, and the need to question those who claim authority over our lives. If this story unsettled you, that's the point. History isn't always safe or comforting. Sometimes, the truth is darker than anything we can imagine. As you sit back and let these mysteries sink in, remember, not everything you see or hear can be explained. Some events leave questions that even science struggles to answer. And perhaps, that's what makes the unknown so captivating. The stories we uncover may seem strange, unbelievable, or even impossible, but somewhere, in the shadows of our world, they linger. They wait for someone curious enough to notice, to question, and to seek the truth. Could it be that the line between reality and the unexplained is thinner than we imagine? Only time, observation, and a keen mind will tell. If this journey into the unknown left you with chills, goosebumps, or even more questions than answers, you're not alone. Many who dare to explore these mysteries find themselves wondering, what else is out there, just beyond the edge of understanding? And while the world continues to hide its secrets, you can stay one step ahead. By subscribing to Echo's Evidence, you'll never miss another encounter with the unexplained. Hit the bell icon, so the next mystery comes straight to you, no delays, no excuses. Join a growing community of curious minds, who, like you, are drawn to the strange, the eerie, and the unexplainable. Remember, every video you watch here is more than a story, It's a doorway. A doorway to knowledge, to fear, to fascination, and sometimes, to answers we didn't know we were looking for. And just when you think you've seen it all, the shadows may shift, the quiet may whisper, and something familiar might not be what it seems. Keep your senses alert, because the next strange occurrence, the next unexplainable phenomenon, could be closer than you think. So, before you leave, take a moment, reflect on what you've just seen. Share your thoughts, your theories, or your own mysterious experiences in the comments. Let's see how deep the rabbit hole really goes together. And as always, keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your curiosity alive. Because in a world full of echoes and evidence, the next mystery is always waiting.